Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am going to check to see if I'm on live and you can hear me, because I'm going to put together a card using the Simply Succulent set. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use the Simply Succulent bundle. Now, this is still a bundle if you purchase it in the Mini catalog, which will be on until 31 May, right? Or the end of June. So you have time to order from this and get your discount, the 10% discount off this bundle. Otherwise, you will find it again here in the new annual catalog, which just launched, and here it is. But it will not be in a bundle. You will have to buy the stamp set and the die separately. So take advantage of the opportunity to purchase that as a bundle now before the end of the end of June. And you know, if you need a demonstrator, Kat Chancellor, just go over to my site and let me know that you need a demonstrator, and you can order from my site. Okay, so we're going to make this card right here. This is a card we're going to be using a reverse emboss technique. We're going to be painting it using watercolors, just using our plain inks. And we're going to be doing a background, and I'm going to have a stencil that will be made from the dies that come out of this. I'm making this for my niece. She loves plants, and I wanted to do something kind of different for her. So this is going to be a card that's going to her. So what you're going to need to put together this card is we're going to need a base card, and I'm using my base card is going to be Blackberry Bliss, and it's a 5.5 by 4 1/4, and it's cut kind of long ways. You're going to need a piece of Whisper White, and this is going to be our matting piece, and this is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. And you're also going to need a piece, again, 5 1/4 by 4, but we're going to cut this down to 5 3/4, and this is going to be the piece that we're going to be doing a stencil with it. And I'm also going to need, and let me see if I can find my, I'm going to need a piece of watercolor paper. And I usually take my watercolor paper and I just kind of cut it all up. And I have a piece here. I think this is 4 3/4 by 4. Let me see. Yep, that's 4 3/4 by 5. And this is going to go here. And we're going to cut this down. We're going to cut this down. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to stamp and do the reverse emboss on our watercolor paper, and then we're going to cut it out using our dies. So the stamp set, here's the stamp set. I like to put a piece of magnet in there. I have my little pot right here because we're going to use our little pot, and I'm going to take I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the pot. So I'm going to take out that stamp, and then we're going to take out this very large stamp here because this is what we're going to do our reverse emboss. We're also going to use some of these kind of flower stamps here, and these are plants. I think this is like aloe vera, and then this is the I've heard it called the rosary stamp plant. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And I'm using Granny Apple Green. So here's a piece of cardstock that I used on the previous card. So I'm just going to go and use this. But what I'm going to do to kind of change it up is I am going to use a piece of my adhesive sheet right here. and I have a big roll. I'm going to put that on the back, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. We're just going to put a piece of adhesive sheet on the back. That way when I cut this out, and this is how I do it, I'm just going to grab a piece of scissors. Now this is a big roll. You can buy the adhesive sheets from the catalog, which are equally wonderful, but because I do so much stamping, I went ahead and bought the roll, which is available on Amazon. So whatever makes more economical sense for you is the way to go. So I've got that cut right there. So this is going to be what I'm going to use for my my background foliage that I'm going to put on. I'm also going to need, and let me just put this aside. Here are my ink colors that I'm going to be using for my watercolor. But I've got Blackberry, Bliss, and Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to go ahead and put these aside. I have to use some aqua painters here, right here. And we're going to also just get a little paper towel so you have something to watercolor on. So I'm going to put that aside. We're going to go ahead and stamp this using our embossing powder. Now, this is in a baggie because I'm between moving, so I have everything in baggies where I would have everything in my little shelf. I'm using, I have some heat and stick powder here, but I'm using I think I'm going to use some white embossing powder. Let me find it. Okay, here's my white embossing powder. I'm going to take my little coffee filter, and I have a brush, and we're going to go ahead and use Versamark ink. And I like to use my Stamparatus because I know that with my Stamparatus, I'm going to get I can ensure that I get really good coverage. So let's go ahead and take our watercolor paper first. And let's put that down. Now this Stamparatus comes with you can purchase a mat, a foam mat, and that's only if you're using photopolymer stamps. But since we're not using photopolymer stamps, I'm just going to use the hard piece of the Stamparatus like this, put my magnets. I'm going to align my stamp the way I want it to appear here on my paper. I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm going to grab my Versamark, which should be right over here. Here's my Versamark, and here's my paper. I don't know why that has that in there. Let's see, let me just clean that up. I had it, something was inside my little tray there. Okay, and I'm going to grab my Versamark. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp and see if I've got, make sure I get all my coverage. If I didn't get enough coverage, I can always go back and put some more on. That's the wonderful thing about the Stamparatus. And I think I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. Well, let's go ahead and take this off. And let's see about, I don't think this is going to fit, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to put this right here like that. I'm going to move this up a little bit. And I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to pick that up. And I'm going to do the same thing. Use Versamark. Okay. And then we have both of these done. So let's take them out. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean off my stamps like that. I'm going to leave them on my Versamark, or on my Stamparatus for now. Just set that aside. And now I'm going to bring in my tray and a sheet, coffee filter sheet. and I'm going to use my white embossing powder. Let me close this up, and we'll just go ahead and do the white embossing powder. And this is watercolor paper, so I'm doing the white embossing powder on watercolor paper. Okay, and make sure I get all kinds of coverage. I'm missing just a little bit right there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. And let's go ahead and put this back in here. And we'll just go ahead and I'm going to put all of these over here. And I'm going to take out my heat tool, and we're going to go ahead and emboss this. Hi, Marilyn, and hi, Doris. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a good Saturday. Now, I noticed right here, I missed some spots on my embossing. So, because this is so delicate, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to re-emboss it. And let me tell you what I did that I shouldn't have done. See, I have this right here. Because I don't think if I hadn't have moved my paper and I had left this right where I had it, I could have re-stamped it. But because I didn't do that, I'm going to have to totally redo this. And I know it's repetitive and this is live, but you know, sometimes that's how we roll. So I'm going to kind of make sure that, and maybe I'm going to put this out here a little bit. Let's move this. I'm going to use this line right here so that I can make sure that I have total coverage. Do I have another, I don't have another magnet. I should have one, but I don't have one in there. Again, I'm between movies, so sometimes some of my stuff has not all come with me. So I'm just going to just put that there, and that should cover my stamp. So let's just put that again. Let's pick that up, and then let's grab our Versamark. And we're going to re-stamp this to make sure I have Versamark. Because I'm watercoloring it, I have to make sure that I do get, using this reverse emboss technique, that I do have total coverage. So once again, I'm kind of looking at it carefully. Because this is a Stamparatus, I can go ahead and I can stamp again until I'm really satisfied that I have enough ink on there. And I'm just kind of moving my head to make sure I do. Now, if I don't, I'm going to leave this like that because I can always come back and I can re-stamp by not moving my my Versamark, okay? Or rather, by not moving my stamp on my Stamparatus. You can stamp several times, and I've seen several demonstrators do that with their projects. Okay. And there we go. And there's a little bit of, there's just a little bit of powder right here. I'm just going to kind of get rid of some of that powder. Okay, let me put this back. And then we'll go ahead and do this again. There, and that's much better. But we're going to do this. We're going to do this yet again, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to put this back here like this. Because I'm watercoloring, I want to make sure that I get all of this right on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this aside. I'm double embossing. And the reason why I'm double embossing is because when I'm using the watercolors, it's going to kind of stay. It's going to kind of stay in our little areas as we color. So we're kind of building up. We're building up our lines. Okay, and hopefully you can see that they're much more pronounced than they are on this side, because I just used much more embossing powder. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build up those lines so that when I use my my watercolors, they kind of stay in those areas. So, okay, so that's nice and cool. So now I'm going to, and here's, now you can see this kind of had like really small little channels, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I want some really nice heavy lines that can kind of hold my watercolor ink. So I'm double embossing it. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab my let's see, where is it? Hold on, I have it over here somewhere. No, I already took it out. Hold on, I'm having a senior moment here. Oh, here it is. Okay, I have that, and then I'm going to cut out this on this side. So let's cut out. I'm going to bring in my brand new Big Shot. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, I love this new machine. I really, really do. And let me just pull this out for a minute so you can kind of see this big, beautiful machine that I have here. Anyway, it opens up. Okay, and then over here, I have my number one. Everything's numbered. So number one is my base plate. Number two is my next plate. Number three is my clear base plate, right? And then I'm going to put this right here. right there. And that is nicely lined up. Then I'm going to grab my top plate. And I have to make sure that I have this on here well. And I have a little itty bitty piece of tape that I use. This is regular masking tape because I don't have any washi tape or my purple tape. So I'm just going to put a little piece of masking tape right there. Okay. And then I'm going to put that there. And we're going to roll it through. Look how nice. Oh my gosh, look at that. It rolls through like butter. I don't have to fight with this machine like I used to have to fight with my other machine. And there it is. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out my die. And I can just stack these really neatly over here on the side. And boom, put this aside. And I don't have to worry about it. Okay, now that I have that piece, the other thing I want to die cut, and I've already die cut this in advance, but what you want to do is you want to take this die. Let me show you the die here. You want this bundle comes with this die. And what I did with this die is I took a piece of window sheet and I went ahead and I die cut it, and this is going to be my stencil. Okay, this is going to be the stencil that I'm going to use for my background. So you want to be able to do that. I've already done it, so I just kind of want to show it to you. It took me about twice to actually come up with the final window sheet because it's a little tough to cut. But I was using my old Big Shot. I wasn't using my new one because I did this in Pensacola. Sorry, I did that in Pensacola. Okay. So now that we have our flower, I'm going to bring out my inks. And here are my inks. And I'm going to you can still press these kind of nicely right there. Kind of in the middle. And I am going to, I think I have some more of these here somewhere. Again, see, this is my bag of tricks. I just want to make sure I have what I need. And if I need a little bit of water, I don't think I do. I'm going to get my straw. This is my drink. And I have water in this. I have water in this. Let me see. I'm going to put a little bit more water in this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unscrew this. And I got to pull this little black sponger out. And I'm going to grab my straw like this. And I'm just going to go. Look at that. There it is. That's how you can fill those. Just use a straw. And then that one is filled. And okay, so that one's done. And then I have this one filled. And I have a fine point and then the regular. This was the old aqua painters. And these are the new aqua painters. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make, I'm going to do the lightest color first, and that's going to be my green. So I'm going to squeeze some water right here, and let me just move in so you can watch, because this is really the area that a lot of people feel very intimidated by, and there's no reason to feel intimidated when doing this. So I just kind of pick up some of this color, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get, if you kind of look, all of this down here are little green, greenery. Oops. Always have a paper towel to kind of pick up any extra water. So I'm just going to kind of go in here, and I'm just going to kind of add, I don't know why, oh, this thing's leaking. Huh, how did that happen? I noticed my little thing is kind of leaking a little bit. So I had to kind of make sure that the little plunger was in there. And I'm just kind of laying down some, light color right here. Okay, because this is kind of where I'm just going to have to switch this over. And I'm going to take, this thing is leaking, and I'm going to have to switch out my, thing, because I need this small one. So I got to take this out again. And let me grab some more water. And we're just going to put this back on. And let's see how this one's working. This one should work a little bit better. Okay. So here I am. I'm kind of just putting my color on. And this is called a wash. You just kind of want to fill these little places with the green, because that's what these are little green, kind of the little green pieces that are kind of going around. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to add a little bit of green around these edges. I'm going to add a little bit of green, and I'm just kind of adding green. And I'm just kind of blotting off, because you see how I just kind of have I have a very light kind of base there. Okay, I'm just kind of, because what these flowers or these succulents have a little bit of green around the edges, and then they're kind of colorful. They're kind of colorful towards the center, and that's what I'm trying to replicate here. And I'm just kind of blotting those out. So you can kind of see I'm kind of building up this this greenery area. Here's the big one in the middle. Again, just kind of building up some of the greenery that I want to see over here. And then it's just a light wash. I'm kind of laying down kind of the initial color. If I have water that's kind of all over the place, I can just kind of pick it up. And I've got this flower right in here. So I'm kind of trying to define these leaves around the edge of this flower right here. Like that. And just kind of leave it there like that. And then I'm just going to kind of add some more of the darker green right along here. Like that. Okay, so I've laid down my initial wash of my green. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my aqua painter and I'm going to pick up some of this color, and I'm going to kind of very delicately kind of wash. I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to kind of move out. Okay, I'm starting in the center and I'm moving out. So I'm putting my pigment in the center and then I'm pushing it out to the edge. And it doesn't have to go all the way to the edge. It can go to the edge of where the green is in my other, where I've kind of put green on the edge of those, those pieces. Okay, so put the wash in the center and then push it out. Okay, put the wash in the center and I'm pushing it out to the edge. Okay, and then because it's wet, it's going to kind of bleed. It's going to kind of bleed out. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to, maybe I'll put the wash at the edge and I'll bring it in on this flower. Maybe I put the wash on the edge and I'm going to pull it in this way. See, and I've kind of outlined that flower, and I'm just going to lightly blot if I have too much water. And I can always just kind of add a little bit of pigment and just kind of, if I find a leaf, I can just bring that leaf in, because I kind of want these leaves to be darker over here on the edge. I can grab pigment and just kind of, and see how it kind of bled in. That's what you want it to do, and that's what doing the embossing twice is it gives you a really nice edge, so you can allow your watercolor will kind of stay in that area. Now I wanted to show you what I'm doing over here with my ink. I have a little bit of water over here. I'm going to put some more. I don't want too much. I'm going to blot it. But I'm using just a little bit of water, and as I pick up pigment, I'm picking up the pigment with a damp tip right here. Okay, and that's how I'm picking up the pigment, and I'm going to show you, and then I'm just kind of adding the pigment like that and kind of pushing it down. And I can just add more pigment. And where I have water, I can just add pure pigment because it's going to go ahead and bleed for me. See that? See how it kind of bled? And that's kind of what we want. We like to have that bleeding, because that's what gives you your effect. So there you go. And I'm just kind of going around the edge of my flower. And this isn't a flower. I know it's a succulent. I'm calling it a flower. I know it's not. But do you see how that kind of blended pretty? So now let's go back over here and let's add some. I just took my pen. I just kind of washed it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add some of just the pigment, and we're going to let this kind of, I'm just letting that kind of wash out. You see, all I have to do is touch it and the watercolor takes it. But because I have those two layers, because I have those 2 layers of embossing, the white embossing powder, it makes sure I have a nice little channel here. And then I can just kind of not put so much liquid on my pen, on my paintbrush, and I can kind of blend a little bit if I want to blend. See that? Just kind of blend. I've got a leaf over here. I just kind of want to blend a little bit. And where it might be green, maybe I want to add a little bit on the tips, a little bit of the darkness on the tips of my outside of my flower, because I laid my green wash down. So now all I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying some of this, I'm letting it kind of be a little bit of a and then I can blend, take the pigment off my pen, off my brush, and just kind of rub it and just kind of blend it in there like that. So you can kind of see that effect we're getting. And we're going to do the same over here. Take off that pigment, and I'm just going to kind of blend it. I'm just pulling it around. And then we have these flowers up here. So I just kind of, I'm start out in an area, right? Start out in an area. And I'm just pulling the color out. I use my green wash as a basis. Now I'm just going to kind of put this over here. Again, because I double embossed it, I've got nice little channels. Nice little channels. And now we're going to do the same thing with this flower right over here. I'm going to grab the pigment, and I'm just going to kind of starting at the middle, and I'm just kind of pulling it out, starting at the middle. Okay, so you kind of see, and I'm taking it off my brush, and I'm just pulling it out now with there's no pigment on my brush. Well, there's a little bit, because now I'm just kind of using a little bit to wash. I've got just enough just to kind of wash my leaf. See how I'm just kind of like just a hint of color where my green was. I'm just kind of washing my leaf. I have a little leaf right here. I'm going to add some pigment at this little leaf right here, because I want that to kind of have a little bit of more depth. So you can add a little bit of darkness wherever you want to have some depth. Or I can even go back over here, because this is damp. It's not totally dry yet. So you can always kind of go back, and just using the tip of your paintbrush, you can add just a little bit, and you can give it just a little bit more depth. So let's go in here. Okay, and I'm going to I just put some pigment there in the tips, and all I'm doing is I'm just going to rub it down, right? I'm just pulling it down, put some pigment in the tips. Clean off my brush, and I'm just pulling it down. Look at that, pulling it down so that it blends. Okay, so look how pretty that is. So now let's go up here. It's the same technique. We're going to go ahead and take some of this. We had the green wash, right? So now we're going to decide where we're going to put our color. I want to put the color in the middle. Let me just put this down for a minute. I'm going to put the color in the middle. And I'm just going to kind of clean my brush, and then just kind of pull that color out. See, I'm just kind of blending it out. And the same thing over here, just kind of pulling that color out across the rest of my flower by pulling from the middle out. Those are the way my strokes are going, almost like a star shape. Okay, and by doing that, you're adding a little bit of tone kind of in the middle, and then you can kind of start adding a little bit of your color at the tips of your succulent here. Okay, we're adding some color on the tips, which is going to make this play a little bit better. Okay, and then if I see it's too strong, I just go ahead and take my wet brush without any pigment on it, my wet aqua painter, and I just kind of work it in there. I just kind of, and that's what is so wonderful. That is what's so wonderful about this paper, is that it's meant to absorb, and it will stay a little wet. There you go. Isn't that pretty? I just think that, look at that. I just think that it's just so pretty. So there it is, kind of, you know, we've worked it. If we want to add a little bit of accent, we can. We can kind of darken the middle over here where we want the center of our succulent to be, right here. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I have problems with pronunciation sometimes, so. And then we're just going to see this. We're just going to blend this right here. And see what I'm doing? I'm just blending it. I'm blending it around and making sure that all my tips of my succulent has pigment on it, because I want it to kind of show up. I can add some here. So I'm kind of going around the outside now, just making sure I'm adding just a little bit more color to the tips around the edge. Right here, I want to add just a little bit right here where it's just kind of a little bit light, and just add some more color. Look, it's just very easy, no stress. You're just using 2 colors. There you go. Now we're going to go here to the bottom, and we're gonna add some color, but the main color I want to add is, let me bring the green in now, is that I want to add the green pigment. And let me press my pad here. Oops. I just dropped my pad. Hold on, folks. I just dropped my pad and I got ink all over it, so I got to clean it up here. Let me squeeze it again. Okay, so I squeezed the pad. Okay, and I've got plenty of pigment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that going to kind of add my pigment like this along the bottom. Right? And then I'm going to pull it up. Blot if I need. And then I'm going to go around the edge with the pigment, hardcore pigment right there. And then I'm going to pull it, I'm just pulling it in. And I might want to add just a little bit of pink in the middle, just to give her a little bit of contrast. See that? I'm just kind of and then I can just kind of blot it a little and add more color. See, I kind of added the dark color there, and I pulled it up, and then I went back and I just put pure pigment right in those little holes and the little channels. And then I kind of just blended in. Just making sure I have all these little holes filled. And I can even add some green. So if I want to add green to some of these green areas, I can do that. I can add a little bit of green. Look at that. You see how I'm even kind of highlighting where I painted. I can add just a little tad of green right there. Okay, and I can just kind of highlight that. A little bit of green right there. And there you go. I think we've got a very good little succulent. And all I used was these two pads and a watercolor painter. And these watercolor painters are just not really impressed with them. I got some holes in them and they were dripping, and I do not like that. So let me see. Let me see how I need to put this back. I'm just going to leave this like this. And this goes here. I'm going to clean off my brush. And I have another cap here somewhere. Don't know where it is. I'm just going to set my brush right there. Close my inks. Okay, I have made over here, so that you can see, I have already made a see, I should have that here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside because I'm done with the painting. And now we're going to take, so I'm going to let this dry. Now we're going to take this with a piece of our Whisper White cardstock right here. And I'm going to put this down here like that. And then I'm going to get a sponge dauber. And here's my thing. And I have a pink and a green. So I do need my inks. I shouldn't have put them back. All right, I'm going to grab my green here, and I'm just going to hold this down, and I am going to just rub that very easily, starting at the middle, and I'm just going to rub out like this. Okay. And then I'm going to take, I'm just going to make sure I just kind of hold that there. Then I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss, make sure I've got this here. I'm going to hold this in the middle. And I'm just going to go ahead and go around the edge like this. Now they have a really nice blending brush in the catalog, but I'll be honest with you, I can't find mine. So, you know, this sponge does fine. I've been doing it like this for years anyway. You see how pretty that is? So let me just go ahead and line this back up again like this. And make sure that's lined up. Okay. And it is. Just hold on, let me get it lined up. All right, and then I'm just going to grab this, and we're just going to, again, we're just kind of going from the center out and kind of blending along that edge right there. And if I want to do little darker areas, I can. And there you go. There's our background. Now, I didn't do all the edges because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut this down to 5 3 3/4. So I should have my little cutter here, and this is going to be 3 3/4. So let me just kind of cut that there, and let me make sure I get this 3 3/4 right there. And this doesn't have a 5, so let's see, we want to do 5. I'm going to mark it right here. There's my 5. Instead of bringing in my big cutter, I'm just going to mark it like that. And then I know that if I line it up on top, you know, it's going to, and I line it right here, it's going to be just fine. Okay, so there is our background. So I have my base card, I have a white layer, and then I have my background, and this is where our succulent's going to go. It's going to go right here in the middle. Now, if you want to, you can kind of take your sponge again and you can kind of go along the edge like that. You can also make sure you get this . like that. And then you can always go and add a little bit more green kind of over that. Just kind of soften your image a little bit. And let me grab something to clean. I just made a mess of my pads. Let me kind of clean my pads off. Okay, so let me put that there. All right, so I've got that. And I've got this. Now we're going to, isn't that pretty? Look at that. And we're going to pop this up on a sentiment. So then I've got this here. And we can go ahead and glue this one down. We can glue this one down right now. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's grab our Tombow. And let's just put that there on that. Okay. And let's let that set. And I have, or had, a piece of paper here. And I had my I'm looking for it. I had another, you know what I forgot to do, but I know I had another piece. Okay, we're going to cut that. And I had my, I had my little, I had my, my little pot. So I'm going to have to do this again, which is not what I wanted to do, but I don't have much choice in the matter right now. And, oh, here it is. Okay, thank goodness. I've already done this pot with the white embossing powder, and then I just took some terracotta tile and then I sponged around it so that I could kind of give a effect of a tile more so than if I just left it. Now this, I'm going to have to clean this off. So I'm going to put this over here. And then these are going to go in my sponge box. And then this is going to go back in here. So let me go ahead and put this back here. Now I want to cut these. And I should have had already took out my die. Should have already taken out a die for my little for my, got that, oh, here it is. You wouldn't believe this workbench I'm on. This is my mother's craft room, her art room rather, studio. So there's a lot of pieces and parts all around. Okay, so I have this with the double-sided tape, okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these two out. And then I'm going to cut out this little pot. So let me grab my Big Shot and bring it into view. And I don't want to lose this. And I'm going to invest in a little Big Shot because I just think it's I really love this new Big Shot. Marilyn, don't worry about not being a good colorist. If you play around with it and you just stick to two colors and you think about the light and darks, you can't go wrong. think about the inside being dark and the outside, and the outside edges being dark, and then just kind of play with your colors like that. Watercolor is so easy because you can use a wash, and you always want to use your lightest color as your base wash, which is what I did by using the green. You can use yellow. You can use anything as a base wash, and then from there you can kind of use your other contrasting color to kind of work around it. So play with it. It's not hard. I just want to show you some ideas, but don't be frightened with it. Have fun with it. And nobody's no one can do any better than you can, right? Think about it. Nobody can do any better than you. It's all good. And if you just play around with it and you add it with like what we're going to do, it's just going to look beautiful. Oh, I love this big shot. It is so smooth. And I'm just going to put those there. See, look at this. I don't have any great big machine. I just fold it up and I can just set it in the smallest little place on the corner of my stamping area. Okay. So there's this, and I've got that neat adhesive on the back. And there's this piece, and I've got that neat adhesive on the back. So now I'm going to pull in my card, and I went ahead. Now this is a little magnet pad I have over here. So this is where I put all my dies as I'm working. I just don't have as much room as I used to have. See, I have them all in this magnet pad. That way I can get back to it and make sure that I put them away. Now, what happened to the rest of my card? Oh, here it is. I just have a lot. I don't have much room to spread things out, so I have to kind of work in vertical as opposed to how I'm used to working. Now I had this. Oh, that's already on there. Okay, you see that? That's already on there like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to arrange this. Isn't that pretty? I can arrange that, and then I can have maybe this piece kind of coming down like that. And then here's my pot that's going to go right there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pot down. And let me just go ahead and just going to grab some Tombow, because I'm just going to put this pot down like this. Okay, so I'm going to put my pot down right about there. Okay. And then I'm going to, I want to put this down, but I'm going to put this down, and I want to put this up on dimensionals. Let me grab my pack of dimensionals over here. Let's see, I have this pack right here. So I want to put this one up on dimensionals right there. And I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm going to kind of concentrate on the inside, because I want to stick, I'm going to have to stick these down. And I haven't pulled the backs off. They're still on there. Now I want to show you another neat effect. If you cut out this framelit, you can come up with these neat little, you can cut up the area, the little framelits, and you can come up with some very nice little designs that you can use separately as background for another card. See that? How I can use that. So I just want to give you that idea. Okay, so you see how that looks? Look at that. It's just beautiful. You could put maybe vellum as a background, but then you have these pieces. Now, I would recommend that if you were going to cut these out, go ahead and put that double-sided tape on it. And that double-sided tape will make sure, right, that adhesive backing will make sure that you can put these down. Otherwise, you just have to kind of stick them and lock them in with a dimensional on whatever you're putting down. So I kind of like this. So I got to turn it this way so I can kind of see how I want this. I want this to be up here in this corner. And then I want this to kind of come down like that. And then I'm going to put this in the middle. And I have it, so I have green, and then I have this green over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off. I'll use my tool here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off. And I'm going to use my entire card and make sure that I have this thing all the way in the corner, and it's from this corner to that corner. I'm using my entire card, and I'm going to do the same thing here. We're just going to pull this paper off. Like that. And then we're going to, again, I want to use the whole card. So I want this thing to go all the way down like that. So it kind of frames. Okay. Now I can put this, and I can kind of arrange this where I can be, assured that I have, a really nice composition there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pull off my dimensionals, and I'm going to go ahead and let me turn it around because I'm working upside down, and I just kind of want to be able to see. Okay, and what I did is I kind of made sure now that this filled this corner over here. Okay, because I'm going to put a sentiment down here. I need another dimensional right under here. So I'm just going to pull a dimensional and very gently, this is watercolor paper, so it's very forgiving. You can just pull it up the corner, and there you go. Look at that. So now we're going to put this on our card. And isn't that gorgeous? That is just so pretty. So I think I have a congratulations sentiment somewhere. Let me see where I have all my pieces and parts here. I love this stamp set. Let me show you the one I'm using. The Many Messages. Many Messages. Love this. I go ahead and I cut out as many as I can, and then I go and I can find a sentiment that I want to use. And I did. There it is. So now I have a nice sentiment. I just put these back. When I run out of sentiments, I just go ahead and I stamp another one. And I just throw them. I just throw them in there. Now, I will tell you that the new annual catalog has another matching. It's a complimentary set that goes with this that has other really nice sentiments as well that fits that same die. And this is a bundle, and you can get this in the mini catalog again. So don't pass up that 10% off, because that really adds up. And if you go onto my newsletter, my Stamp Up Connection site, sign up for my newsletter. There's some really great promotions out there. One of the promotions is that you get $155 in product if you join my team instead of the $124. You can also get an extra $25 in Stampin' Rewards if you either sign up for a party, or if you if you buy $250 in for an order, you'll get all of the Stampin' Rewards with that order, as well as an extra $25 in Stampin' Rewards. So that is all good news, good news. And you can always get good news from my newsletter when you sign up. And if you aren't impressed with that, go on to my stampartconnection.com site and you will see my archive of newsletters, and you will not only see promotions, but you'll also see some of the products and some of the projects that I feature there. Okay, so there we are. That's going to go right there. So let me go ahead and pull in. And I'm going to just pull this in here, and these are wonderful because they'll either take the mini or the regular dimensional. So just super product, makes it easy for fast crafting when you're putting together cards. And here I am, I've put together this card. This is going out to my niece who is in the nursing program. All right, so I'm just going to put that right there. And look at that. There you go. Now let me show you a couple of the cards I put together using the same idea. Here was our template card right here. Okay, so you can see I had a little bit more green around this side than I did this side, but it's still good. Here's another card I made using the same coloring technique. I used the reverse embossing, but I used all the greens. I used two shades of green and kind of did the same technique right there with that one. And then this one is the same kind of technique, only it's on a green background. And again, there's not as much, there's more green in it than you can see with these others. So here are some examples using this wonderful set that is a bundle still available in the mini catalog that will be going away soon. However, you can buy it if you miss it. You can purchase it in the annual catalog, but I will tell you, you will have to you will not be able to get the 10% discount. And let me pull this out. You will not be able to get the 10% discount on the dies. So that is why you need to buy now. So go to stampartconnection.com if you're looking for a demonstrator. Purchase. Look at all the promotions that are going on. It's a great time to join to get your 20% off. It's a great time to have a party. Give me a call. I do virtual parties. And it's also just a great time to put in a $250 order to get those extra $25 in Stampin' Rewards, which really adds up when there's a brand new catalog out there. And if you act now, you've got 2 catalogs that you can order from. Right now, you can order from this catalog because it's live, and until the end of June, you can order from this catalog. So you got 2 catalogs with some great products in it that you can order it from. So this is Kat Chancellor with StamPartConnection.com. God bless, and thank you for hanging with me as I showed you how to do some watercoloring with the wonderful Simply Succulents. All right, God bless and have a great Saturday.